You mentioned that in Abernight they had games. What kind of games was it there?
Highland Games.
Really?
Oh, Highland Games, yes. That was right up the top of Abernight Hill, next where Pitkindy Shoppy was.
All right.
That's where it was, on a flat bit ground there. And they had what they call a greasy pole there, a high pole. And they put grease on it to try and climb that. And I think it was a lump of cheese they got. I think that's what it was, a big cheese. I think so anyway.
And was it stuck in the ground? It was secure?
Oh, secure? Yes, it was still there when I was at the school.
Really? Mm-hmm. Oh, so it was left?
I remember reading a Courier, 1906, and Abernight Games was mentioned on it.
Right.
And my father, he was first for throwing the hammer, that's what I remember.
Really? So they threw the hammer, and what else did they do? The greasy pole?
And the greasy pole, and putting the stone, and races.
Really?
Races, and then competitions, piping and things like that. It was the real Highland game.
Do you remember seeing any remains of the old city of Scone?
Well, the only thing that remains of the old city of Scone is the old cross of Scone. But it's not in its, to me, it's not in its original place, where it's sited beside the old arch. Because there's a game that you used to play twice a year at the old village, and they used to play it at the new village as well, like was what they call it, the Ball of Scone. It was a game of football, you see, and it was a pigskin made up and filled up with air, and one side was a hole up beside the cross of Scone, and the other goal was the tea. You see, and every man of a certain age all participated in it. You see, and they say it was really rough, but you couldn't do that where the cross is now situated, because you have the arch and the wall of the palace grounds, and then you also have the palace buildings between you and the tea.
Well, I know a man, George Ferrier was his name, and he was a great character, strong. He could lift a 56 on his pinky and take a pen and pencil and write his name on the door or shed or anything. I've seen him doing it. And he could lift a horse. That's way back 50 years ago.
You've seen him do that?
I didn't see him lifting the horse, but I've seen him doing the 56, that he could lift a horse. Just going a little bit, just horse maybe about 1400 weight. But a back lift, you know. Oh, aye, that's right.
Were you told about feats of strength that you just couldn't believe?
Oh, some of them had a wee bit of elastic attached to them. You had to allow a wee bit. Right, a bit of truth in it, but yes, there was a wee bit elastic. Stretched it a wee bit while.
There was another thing when I came to Abernight, and some friend, Jim Cooper Angus, said, "You're going to the rural?" I said, "Yes." Now they have competitions, so if you enter, you better not be the first, because people wouldn't like it. Well, I made blacker and jam in the caravan, and I had the plant sitting in the garage, and both won first prize, and that was at my first.
And that was before you had moved into the house?
Yes, I was still living in the caravan. So I thought, here I go. I shouldn't have first or second or third prize, and I've got two firsts. So, but instead of people being in a huff that this newcomer took 2 firsts. What did I hear? You'll be a good one to be on the committee.
Right. And where was it you met?
Dances, in Abernethy School.
Right. All right.
Aye, there was about 4 dances every winter.
There was a lantern lecture in the church, and you walked me home from there. From there on,
That was it.
that was it.
Oh, that was
One of
nice.
the dances and whatnot.
So that
There
was
was a club at Abernethy that time,
right.
and they done dances quite often.
There were 3 dances in the winter. The kind of dances at that time were the men were at one side sitting, and the ladies on the other side. You know that?
Yes, I remember that.
Just a mud rush across the floor when they shout out the dance.
That was still the same in my time. But tell me.
Who were the musicians for the dances?
Well, the army bands, the army bands, except when the war finished, most of the soldiers went away to a certain extent, except various ones were left. And so Muriel Robertson and myself started to run dances for War Weapons Week and things like that. So we ran them in the church hall down there, and Mrs. What's her name? Mrs. Miller, she complained to the minister and the police because we were encouraging immorality in the church grounds. Got jealousy that was wrong with it. So, but I was just looking at my diary. We made £10, which was very good when you think £10 now. God, you spend that going down the street for nothing.
Did you get women in the bosses?
Oh no, oh damn no. Oh no. We was up in Furnall, you know, and up in Furnall, the cooks, the thread folk, had a great big house set back in a mere, and they had a farm called the Middleton, and there was about 13 maids up there. And they couldn't get them to bed because there were no young men there to dance with her, you see. So this lad comes in, a great big lad, and well, he says, I've come, he says, to ask if you'd be kind enough to come up to the Middleton and entertain the young ladies up there, the young girls up there. So there are us, and they're doing it Kilray, you know, and Inchech and all the firms, you see. So I saw us young lads went out. And oh, great big door and those great big bolts, and you can. This boy, oh, white here and 3 buttons in here, you know. The last lads, a big out of money was, well, gentlemen, what can I do for you? Well, Kettle says, well, you can lead us to where the young lasses is. This Kettle's foreman.
Aye. And there would be music.
Oh, aye, there was an accordion or a fiddle or something like that at the buffet. There was somebody able to play some kind of instrument. It was a good life, I can tell you that. Oh, it was.
Did you get boys playing the Jew's harp?
Aye, I could play the Jew's harp myself.
Have you got one here?
No, but I could play it. Oh, aye. That was your first musical instrument.
Or the paper comb?
I never did that.
Very good. What was the real purpose of diddling?
Well, I think before they had music, you see, they just danced to the diddling at one time. Before there was a lot of music, you can. They did that if there wasn't
my violinist or whether a fiddler maybe in the company, they would just dance to mouse music. I think they do that yet, some of the Gaelic boys up there.
My earliest memories of Perth Theatre are going to the pantomime, and it was always so exciting. But when you're a child, you don't really see it as a theatre. When you're a child and going to the pantomime, it's just fun, because it was the only time I went to the theatre was at Christmas time. So it was like such excitement, an annual event, and my mum would always try and get us one of these boxes, so we were like super fancy. And always, I don't know why I remember, but they always ate fruit pastels in a box like you would get at the cinema. And the only time when I was younger I ever thought about the theatre was counting down the days to the pantomime. It wasn't until I think it was 1991 I went to my first grown-up show, because my mum's friend had a spare ticket to see Piaf, and she asked if I would like to go because her daughter was going as well. So I thought, oh, I don't know who Piaf is, but I'll give it a go because it's the theatre. So I went, and it was a different experience. It was grown up, and I didn't eat fruit pastels that day. But it was a grown up audience, and nobody shouted at the actors, which was a bit strange for me, because I was just used to shouting at the actors.
My earliest memory is a very happy one. When I was in my teens at school at Perth Academy, they had a system whereby for 7 and 6pence you got a season ticket that entitled you to any seat not taken on a matinee performance. That was in the days of weekly rep. So many of us went for Saturday afternoons to the theatre and saw a different play every week. You saw actors, actresses coming straight from drama school and growing before your very eyes, and that's what got me caught on theatre.
And how many people would have come with you on that weekly?
Well, memory going far back, probably about a dozen, and we sat up in the gods and had a bird's eye view of everything going on. When I told our kids that we did this, they couldn't believe that you did this on a Saturday afternoon, but then that was pre-television days.
Do you remember what the pubs used to be like in those days?
Oh, they were gay rough. Gay rough. Just a wee bit roomy in there. I mind the Gilton pub, it was just a wee bit bar. Oh, maybe a couple of yards long, and a fire at the back, and the old public, and you see 20 bottles of stout sitting down at the side of the fire, hot stout. And that was all you got in these days.
Did the boys prefer the stout?
A lot of folk preferred Guinness at that time. You can't. The great bodybuilder, they used to like Guinness and sweet stout, you know. This hot stout was supposed to be a great beverage at night. Sometimes you got them, and depending on the mood the public was in, you went in and asked for a book. Oh, that's for some of their buddy, you set it at a accordion if you want. And after beer wasn't very good either. A lot of the beer in the days wasn't very good. It was just like water a lot. I think the publicans put water in to go out spin out. No, it wasn't very good at the days. It's different now, more hygiene and everything now. Oh, there used to be a lot of brawls in about the high street in Perth. Little Dinning Day was a buckle fights in Little Dinning Day, and then there was Flux Friday. That was the Friday after the term, and there were good buckle fights at pub doors after they got chucked out.
Just a drink that.
Just a drink. Oh, I drink. Got their spirits up. Oh, there used to be some wild characters in the days. A real lad Geordie Gillespie and a lad Stewart, they were fighting. They couldn't look at another on a market day when they got drunk. Well, that Geordie Gillespie was an awful man, him on again, and so was this Jock Stewart.
So what would start them fighting? What would they argue about?
Oh, well, them being on different firms, you see. A lot of the old boys, they thought that maybe the one was better than the other, you see, as far as workers go went. Maybe building stocks or drawing drills or maybe ploughing, and he'd be saying I could did better than you, and then when they got to a puckle drink, this is when they used to fall out, and maybe they'd be maybe in the bothy together at one time, you see. And
same as Waterloo, down at the bottom of the village. Before they built this new old people's cottage type place in it, like you see, was the council were excavating it out, the two-storey house and the two single ends, like you see, and somebody fell through into an unknown cellar, and they found a whisky stall, complete. The wee boiler, the furnace, the boiler, and the condenser, all in copper and brass. And the drain pipe was running out in below ground and in below the level of the water of the burn.
Amazing.
So we had an illicit whisky still and nobody had found it.